Welcome to the show, and to our new listeners, welcome to Staying Uncomfortable. Everyone goes through pain in life, and pain comes from different places, right? You have pain in your relationship, either it's in your health or it's mental pain as well. What we forget is that pain is just temporary, but suffering can make pain last forever. The choice is yours because both actually requires action. So what I say to people is that don't just go through the pain, grow from it.
You're right, suffering is optional. It's a choice that we have. Once you have pain in your life, you can choose to have an action plan to remove it, or you can keep taking the pain, and suffer. Now, Dr. Elisabeth Kübler-Ross said, beautiful people don't just happen.
Mm-hmm.
They've experienced loss, they've experienced pain, they've experienced suffering, and they've come out through that storm a different person. So the choice is up to you. Do you want to grow through it, or do you want to just keep it in you and suffer every day?
And I feel like to that point is a lot of time, especially I'm talking from my point of view and from my example, is that before what I've gone through over the last year and a half, I would just keep it to myself. Because again, the society doesn't, people are going to judge you, and you're like, man, I barely am fitting in with this, so now let me not just say what I feel like it, because then it's going to be like, and when I realized that part of it, that I was like, man, I can no longer do this shit. Like, I have to make a decision. I have to make a choice, right? And that's when I started eliminating some of my friends. That's when I started to really start focusing on myself itself, to able to understand and know that why do I have this pain and what's causing it.
Yeah, and what that leads to is loneliness in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
You come to a point where you've eliminated the friends that you don't like. You've figured out what you want out of your career, and in your case, it's been entrepreneurship, right? You had to go through the pain of getting fired twice to realize that you don't want to be part of this corporate world. You want to start something on your own. So you had that pain to get you to that next level. As far as relationships go, or loneliness goes, right? If you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, let's start with not being in a relationship, because both you and I are not in a relationship right now. And
Yes.
more power. For me, I go to my friend's 1-year-old's birthday party.
Yeah.
Or now we're going through, you go to weddings, right? If you're in your mid to late 20s, early 30s, you go to the weddings of people and you're not married, and you feel like, I'm just a bridesmaid or I'm just a groomsman, like when will my turn come? Then you have, they get married and they get pregnant. It's like, I still don't have anybody and you guys are getting pregnant. And then you go to their first, baby's first 1-year-old birthday party, you're like, I still have not made any progress. And it's like that loneliness, that pain should teach you something, right? Which is, you need to figure out who you truly want to be with, and are you deserving one of them, and are they deserving of you, right? Because you have a choice. You could be married today. You could have been married 2 years from now. There's a reason you did not settle for somebody, because you knew you deserved better.
Absolutely right. If you and I both wanted to get married tomorrow, I'm damn sure that we can find a girl to get married with. And the same goes for the females who are listening to this as well. If you feel that, oh my God, I'll never find a guy. No, it's not true. You are so much capable of getting married tomorrow if you wanted to, but yet you choose not to settle. And to that point, let me tell you why you choose not to settle. Because you know what you're valued at. You know what you're worth for. And you know that you can provide somebody an amazing life, that you know that you're capable of doing it. And that's the reason why you choose not to settle. And that's why you're looking for the qualified person to come into your life and to build that life with you. So during this process of the loneliness and thinking that, oh my God, will I ever find somebody? Focus on the positives that you actually have going for yourself. Focus on the things that you're able to do. Focus on understanding who you are as a person. So therefore, when that right person comes in front of you, you're able to kind of do and say what you really want in life and not be scared of having those uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, and really figure out what you want, right? And for me, I actually wrote it down. And it wasn't like a checklist. Like back in the day, you had those mental checklists.
Yeah.
Well, she needs to be between 5'4" and 5'10", and she needs to be between, 26 and 28. Right? Like, you're not putting hard parameters anymore. Like, what I've done with mine is I've put more of a feeling checklist now.
Okay.
Like, she gives me the love and attention that I give her back. We have effortless conversations. And so now I've figured out, okay, here are the things that I want. So hopefully when I meet this person, it's suddenly just the right click of I know what I wanted. There's a reason that people in the past haven't worked out. Either you weren't good enough for them or they weren't good enough for you. And that's okay. It just means you're getting closer and closer to finding that right person.
Yeah, and you should also, in this situation, like, you should also surround yourself with the right friends, right? Think about that for a second. Are your friends actually helping you grow, or are they actually draining your energy in this type of situation, right? So you shouldn't feel every single time you have to go grab dinner with your friends and be like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna be by myself again. Like, you should really think about like how your friends are in your circle are helping you in this situation, because they should be adding more energy to you and saying, no, you're really meant to find the right person.
And that's the pain that we go through again, right? With friendships. If you feel just completely drained of your energy when you're hanging out with the people you are, that pain is telling you something. And again, the focus of this podcast today is when you do have pain, accept it, understand it, but don't choose to suffer. Don't keep doing the same things over and over again that you don't want to do, that are draining your energy. Don't be around the people, don't be around the friends that are completely draining you. You have the choice to take that pain and change something.
And change is not easy. Change just is not easy, people. It takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of energy, and it requires a lot of work that needs to be done on yourself in order for you to accept those changes. And once you really start understanding that the pain is going to make you better, and the pain is going to give you something that you never thought, it's going to change your life. In theory, right, when you're working out, a lot of times you'll hear people say that I don't count the reps, I count when it starts hurting, because that's when you know that the muscles are being activated and being torn down. And that's what you need to realize in our life, is the pain will really, really get you to the next level in your life, wherever you're trying to achieve it.
Yeah, and now kind of taking the flip side of that, let's say you are in a relationship. I had a friend who dated a guy for a year. It was wonderful enough where he proposed, they got married, and he turned out to be an alcoholic. Right? I don't know how he hid it for a year, but when they were married, he would come home drunk every day after work, and her mind is blown at this point, right? Like, how did I end up here?
Yeah.
It was painful to be with somebody that's an alcoholic. It's not easy. Again, he has his own battles, right? And being the amazing person she is, she gave 100% of her effort into growing the relationship. That pain made her want to help the guy get out of this, and she tried her best. She kept trying. But at some point, he needed to accept that he needed to change as well to save that relationship.
Yeah.
And she had to, unfortunately, give him an ultimatum that if you're not going to change, like, I'm going to have to walk away, because this is not what I signed up for. You basically duped me, right? I didn't know you were an alcoholic, and now I know. And it's not what I deserve. And that's so painful. And she suffered for a while, but then she said, no more. My choice is to not suffer in a relationship that I don't deserve. I have another 40, 50, 60 years to live. I cannot choose to live this way. I have given my 100% into helping you and helping us get to where we want to get to. And if it's not happening, it needs to change. And the same thing goes if your person, your significant other, is not putting the right energy or effort into the future you envisioned.
Yeah, you have to stand up for yourself, and these are the most uncomfortable conversations that you need to have in order for you to grow your relationship. The relationships needs to continue to spark each other. if you're married and if you feel that your husband or your wife is just draining the shit out of you and they're not giving into the relationship, have a conversation. There's a choice that needs to be made. Stop avoiding the conflict, stop avoiding the conversation, and have those things. I remember when I was in a relationship and I didn't value the relationship that much. And I was just like, oh, I'm in a relationship, blah, 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 right? And I realized now when I look back the reasons why the relationship didn't work out, because I was never invested into that. And I never was able to have those difficult conversations I needed to have. But I've learned so much from that. And I'm sharing those examples with everybody who's listening to this, is to really say that wherever you are in your relationships, whoever you're dating and whatever you're doing in your relationship, you really need to get uncomfortable sometimes in order to spark each other up.
Exactly, and Malcolm X actually said this: if you don't hate it, you tolerate it. But that's not how life should be, right? Life should be, what's the best thing that could happen? What is the most optimistic view of the future that I have? And if it's not going in that direction, that pain of not going there is teaching you something. How do you get there? Have that uncomfortable conversation with your spouse or partner to get you to that level. That pain of not living up to your full potential in that relationship is teaching you something. That something needs to change, and you need to have that conversation.
Yeah, and then also if you're, for example, are single and are not actually in a relationship or very protective of your time, right? So for the reason why I'm saying this is, so I'm very protective of my energy. Like I don't let X, Y, Z person suck my energy out, because think about all people are doing is sucking energy from all different places, right? And one thing that I'll tell you is that you have to protect that energy so much that you are able to give that to the right people. And I think it goes into the relationship aspect of it as well, where you need to make sure that your energies are combining together to make a relationship better.
100% agree. And this kind of leads us to like breakups too, right?
Yeah.
How they suck the energy out of you. They completely drain you. You start wondering, like, why am I not good enough? Why can't I just find that right person? Why did this relationship break up? You said that you didn't invest enough into the relationship. It could be the other person not investing enough. The other person's not sold on you. But all this pain needs to teach you something. Pain is here to shake you up and say that something's not right. But I know that that breakup pain can get you to the next level. And I know that it did that for you, Kaivan, where you broke up, and I mean, that took you to a completely different level in your life.
Yeah, and I think it took me, 2 years to almost like understand the whole circle of the pain from every single aspect of it. And now I know that, like, hey, the next relationship that I get into, I know how I want to be treated. I know how and what I bring to the table in the relationship. And I know that I'm not going to settle for shit. So I think that itself taught me so much about myself, because I accepted it. And I think the biggest issue in today's society is that people don't want to admit that they're false, number one, where they are wrong. I personally feel like that. A lot of people want to point fingers and say, he did this or she did this. But you know what? A lot of times you need to look at yourself first and say, where did you go wrong?
Yeah, and now I'm a true believer that the two people that do get married, that do make it, and let's say you want to get married, you both have to be in the right mindset, the right frame of mind, to both be in a position where person A is saying, yes, I want a relationship. Person B is saying, yes, I want a relationship. Person A is saying, I'm committed to having tough conversations. Person B is committed to having tough conversations. So you have to be in that right mindset for a relationship to work. And that's really tough until you get over your past. You can't change the past. It happened. Hopefully you learn from it. You learn from that pain of, what should I do? What should I not do? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What do I want in my next partner? Again, you're getting closer and closer to finding the right person because of all the pain you've gone through to teach you the lessons that you need to. And the worst thing you can do is make the same mistakes over and over again, right? You need to learn from them. You need to reflect, evaluate, and assess every mistake of your past don't beat yourself up for it. I used to beat myself up for choosing this one person who really I never thought she would turn out this way, right? Some things happened in my life and I had to basically choose between her and my mom. And that was a suffering for a while that I went through, and then I said, I can't suffer anymore. I'm gonna choose my mom.
And if you decide to suffer, remember, if you decide to suffer, nothing good will come out of that. Because we all are here temporary. So might as well fuck the suffering, take action, and really, really start changing yourself.
And that leads us to death, right? Think about the pain of death. Think about what death is. Death is the end you see after a movie, right?
Yep.
The black screen. Again, we don't know what happens after. No one does really. The spiritual pundits, the gurus, the religious, priests, etc. They may have an idea of what it is, but we don't know what it is. And let's pretend let's assume that is the final breath you'll take on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you want to create? What is it that you want to contribute to this planet, right? That pain of death of other people that are really close to you, you will have that in your lifetime. Your parents are going to die. Your siblings are going to die. Your nieces, your nephews are going to die. Your kids are going to die, right? I can't even imagine. I feel like if you're a parent, if you have a 1-year-old, that 1-year-old is going to die someday, right?
Yeah.
So understand the finality of life, the pain of death, and it can teach you that nothing matters on this world. Everything is so temporary. The pain is temporary. The suffering is temporary. You are temporary. It's okay to go through that pain, but let it teach you something. Reverse engineer. What do you want your obituary to look like? What do you want people to say at your funeral? Also, when you're taking your last couple breaths, right? This is it. This is the finality. Do you look back and do you say, I did all the things that, I went through all the pain, I did all the things that made me uncomfortable, and I'm glad that I did not let any of my talents just go to waste. So if you have some talents, grow them.
Everybody that's listening to this man just said some fucking amazing thing. He dropped just a lot of golden nuggets. Think about it, where you are today. Are you happy? If not, what the fuck are you doing? You're here temporary. Are you going to do all the things that you wanted in this life? Because if not now, when? Time is clicking. What are you going to do? And to that point of that, I have to make a call because I think G, you and I talked about this a little bit ago. So when G's dad passed away, I didn't know how to have that conversation with him, and I used a total different. Approach. I used a different approach because, again, I don't know what that pain feels like, and I know that pain is probably the most hurting pain someone can go through is a death. And I am a type of person that I don't know how to just say sorry and not mean it, because I've never gone through it, so therefore I'm not I don't know how I can just say sorry, because in your mind it's like, dude, you don't even know what this pain feels like.
Exactly, and what I do remember from our interaction is, I know we never brought it up. You would call me after Dad passed, which I really appreciated, because one thing you find out after somebody passes away is people show up for the funeral, and then that's it. Then it's really lonely, because that person is not in your life anymore, and all the people that showed up in your funeral, 95% of them you don't hear from again. So suddenly it's deadly quiet, and you're lonely, and you're depressed. And then suddenly you get this phone call from Kaivan. Hey, what's Kaivan doing? And Kaivan's like, yo, what's up? What are you doing? Let's go get dinner. Okay, well, let's do that. And you have dinner, and you wouldn't even bring up anything, and that's perfectly okay. It was not the fact it was not the conversation that mattered, it was the effort of showing up. It was, I'm here for you, without saying I'm here for you. It was just, let's have dinner. And during our dinners, we wouldn't talk about any of the sad, depressing stuff that I was going through. It was like, hey, this beer's pretty cool. Like, what do you think of this? Or, hey, you know what, I called that girl and, she didn't text me back. And like, we got back into the groove of life. It's all the little mundane things. So, you've got a call to make to, I know one of your uncles passed away and you don't know what to say to his son. And it's not about what you're gonna say, it's the fact that you called him and just showed up and said, I'm so sorry, I'll never understand, I don't understand the pain that you're going through, but I'm here for you. Whatever you need, just know that I'm here. And that's all he'll remember. That's all I remember. I remember every person that showed up at the funeral.
Yeah.
I remember everyone that helped me through the funeral. And I remember everyone that called me after or checked in on me. I cannot tell you, I don't remember anything that anyone said at that time. Everything was a blur. I was depressed, I was crying, I was lonely. But death, the pain of death, the pain of those uncomfortable conversations that you have to go through, it's worth it. Because now you know what you're capable of.
Yeah.
You come out of it way stronger.
And I think pain just makes you strong, man. Pain gives you that different mindset that nothing else can give you. Like, I seek pain. It might sound funny to a lot of you guys, but I seek the discomfort and the pain because over the last 2 years, it's got me to a different mindset, and I'm trying to share this with you so therefore you all can also get things that you want in your life and be happy.
Yeah, you must face the pain because you'll never realize what you're truly capable of, right? You walk into a painful situation, you'll figure out who you are. Are you the person that runs away from pain?
Yeah.
Are you the person that's going to analyze it? I know that's me. I'll analyze it, and then I'll be like, okay, well, here's my checklist of what I need to do.
Yeah.
Kevin, I know you're the type of person that's like, oh, pain? Cool, let's play. And you'll dive right in. So you really figure out who you are.
Yeah. And to this, guys, look, as we said, life is too short, pain is temporary, suffering is temporary. Make the best of it. Take some risk, and don't be afraid to make some rational decisions, I say. Because it's okay, you're going to learn something from it. Life itself is a freaking experience itself. So make the full adventure to be the fun, the exciting, the thriller, all of it that comes with it. And I guarantee you and I assure you, you're going to come out with an amazing experience at the end of it. Till next time.